December 3rd, in the story of how Winston delivered Christmas. An envelope out of place. It took a few moments for Winston to turn himself up the right way and untangle his tail. He dusted himself down and rubbed his nose. What just happened? He wondered. What was that thing that had knocked him over? Clambered back up the snow-covered pile of rubbish and looked around to find who or what the culprit was. It didn't take him long to find out, and his heart skipped a beat. It was an envelope. Winston couldn't believe his luck. Now, for most people, an ordinary envelope isn't something to get terribly excited about. But for Winston, this was a real treat. Of all the things to find on a very cold winter's night like tonight, an envelope, and a dryish one of that, was brilliant. He'd be able to rip a little hole in it and wiggle inside for the night. It would be like a nice papery sleeping bag that would keep him lovely and snug and out of the wind and snow. Winston sprang across the bins in several singy leaps and picked it up. He was just about to tear a tiny hole inside of it when something stopped him. He wasn't sure what it was. Something made his nose twitch and his whiskers tingle. Found himself turning the envelope around so he could read the writing on the front. For a mouse, Winston was very good at reading. When your bed, usually made from bits of newspaper, it's inevitable that you end up working out what all the black marks on the paper mean, just to entertain yourself. Besides, getting a library card can be quite tricky when you're a mouse. Winston ran his paw across the neat handwriting. It said, "To Father Christmas, Mince Pie House, just past that snowdrift, the North Pole. Urgent." He gasped. This wasn't any ordinary envelope. It was addressed to Father Christmas. That must mean that the letter inside was very important. But what on earth was it doing floating about and knocking little mice off their feet? Surely it should be sitting in a neat pile in Father Christmas's warm, cozy workshop right now. It must have got mislaid when the postman was emptying the letterbox, he thought. And as much he really wanted to snuggle inside the envelope and get warm, he knew he couldn't possibly do that. This letter needed to get to Father Christmas. I'll take it to the letterbox and post it so that it can get to the North Pole in time for Christmas Eve, Winston said to himself. But even as the words squeaked out of his mouth, he felt that something wasn't adding up. He counted the days off on his paws to try to work out what day, or rather, night, it actually was. When that didn't work, mice aren't brilliant with numbers. He quickly rummaged through the rubbish pile near him and found the scrap of newspaper he'd uncovered earlier. It was from yesterday's edition. Winston knew that because he'd slept under another scrap of it the night before. He turned it right way up and unfolded the soggy corner. "Uh-oh," said Winston. The newspaper was dated 23rd of December, which meant today was the 24th. And that meant that it was already Christmas Eve.